everybody. Welcome back to the Live Room Podcast, filmed here live on location at Live Studios. I am one of your hosts, Eric. This is my friend, Giler, and this is Taxon.
Taxman.
That's a bit unique that time. I like it.
Yeah, look, it's we're getting there.
Why didn't you say Derek, though?
I don't know.
That's like almost better than your actual name, and you've got a good name.
Do you want to know something for real? I actually don't like saying my name.
Really?
I have to say it because I'm on camera. I'm in broadcasting mode.
Like giving your name to people?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of hesitate as well. It's just one of these things like if I go to Starbucks or something.
Right.
Every time I'm in NYC, dude. They're like, can I get a name, please? And I'm like,
Mr.
Eric?
Lad.
That'll be Daddy to you.
I was talking about this the other day with a mate. I believe that mate was Tyler. Because I don't have too many mates. But that's all good. No, I was saying
it's me.
You're better off making an alias name when you go to a place like whether it's Starbucks or Grilled or any place. Like, oh, can I have a name for that order? Like you want to give out your name in a public place.
Yeah.
In this day and age with social media and the government paying attention to you and all that.
That's
Mark
why
Zuckerberg.
that's right. That's why I always say Rebecca when I go to Grilled.
Nice. Do you really?
No. I should.
Ted Becca.
Oh,
Big Ted.
Tribeca.
Ah, man. We have got a jam-packed program again.
It's happening.
It always happens.
But we're not getting to the meat and potatoes yet. We're just catching up. We're just hanging out.
Yeah, boys.
This is episode 3. Last episode was episode 2. For those of you who can't count, I'll be like,
Do you reckon the one before that was episode 1 by chance?
We're
No?
going chronologically, right?
I think so.
this is the last episode 3 of the Live Room Podcast.
Wow.
The first and last.
Goodness.
Episode 2 was pretty good. We had a hot debate between Fender versus Gibson. We had a lot of hullabaloo, as the youngsters are saying these days. on the
They are saying that.
on the old Instagram.
Yeah.
Fender won,
Of course it did.
like
Fender one hands down.
like landslide.
Do you know what the final total was there?
No, actually, I don't.
I remember the last time I checked, it was 56 Fender, 44 Gibson, a bit closer than I thought. Because it started off much like myself, 80 Fender, 20 Gibson, but it's closing in.
Skewed out. Things got competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, like even on our Lad Studios page, I did the poll. Fender still. I don't know what it is. People have bad taste. If I'm going to put that.
That's it.
I reckon Fender's probably more popular in Australia, to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I reckon if you were to do that poll and do this podcast in America, you'd probably have Gibson as a landslide.
Actually, might have Daisy Rock.
Daisy
That's
Rock.
up there.
Honestly, like after
100% Daisy
after
Rock.
we filmed the last episode, we posted up on Instagram about it, and you guys were just putting the most random bullshit like names, like
BC Rich.
BC Rich,
ESP.
yeah, Daisy Rock, Samick.
Samic's great.
You know,
the
like
Hedgehog.
the very first, we might have to fact check on this, but I'm pretty sure. But an Australian artist was the very first official artist of Daisy Rock guitars.
Really?
Jackson Jones.
Orianthe.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know who that is.
She had a bit of a solo career, but she was actually in the Michael Jackson band on what was going to be his final tour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but he died.
Unfortunately, yes. The king of pop.
I see.
That's it.
Well, that was good timing. I just did a lip smack when you said the king of pop.
I timed it that way.
Very good. How are you guys? We've done a little bit of catching up, a little bit of warming up the vocal cords. So, hey, Jackson, how was your day today? Rainy Tuesday.
Things are good. Things were steady.
Yep.
I don't really have much going on today. I was looking forward to the podcast like all day though. It was a stormy night.
Podcast day, mate.
Barely
Great.
slept. I struggled getting through today. This is like my 8th cup of coffee. I can't even talk properly, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Because we got a jam-packed show tonight.
We sure do.
Tyler,
Yes,
have you heard of the Yanni versus Laurel debate?
I have.
What do you hear?
I hear both. I'm one of the weird guys that hear both.
Really?
Yeah, like I just hear both at the same time. I don't hear one or the other.
I'm all about that Yanni.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Yanni guy.
Interesting.
What about you?
I hear Laurel, 100%. I think from a audio engineer perspective, it's really cool. If I'm going to break it down for the audience here, both are actually on the waveform, as you can tell, because there's some people who hear one or the other. They're actually stacked.
That's right.
Yanni is the high frequency and Laurel is the lower frequency. I believe, fact check me if I'm wrong. Jack check. If you hear Laurel, your hearing isn't actually as great. or you can't hear the high frequency stuff. So like,
So you're in the wrong business.
supposedly younger ears hear Yanny. I could be totally wrong. I could be just
Could be the other way around. I don't
spewing
know.
stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out a way to hear it, like hear both?
Yes. Yeah. So I can split the frequency. So like if I just roll off all the low end, I'll hear Yanny. I can hear it, but like the more I roll it back, the less I hear of Yanny.
That's right.
So it's really interesting.
The way I
Different speakers. I never got Laurel. Not once.
yeah, well,
Really?
Yeah, I suppose if you hear it once, you're always going to hear that. Some people say it changes.
It's a
and
bit
stuff, but
mental.
The way that I kind of hear it is Laurel's just like kind of like Microsoft Sam saying it, like Laurel, and then I hear Yanni, but it sounds like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, Lamo, over the top, but it's at the
Wow.
same time. Yeah,
That's the best breakdown I've heard of it yet, honestly.
Microsoft Sam versus Stitch.
Microsoft Sam.
That's the next Facebook poll.
Microsoft Sam was really fun back in the day because you used to be able to just put any swear word in it, and it was like, you guys remember?
We're a
that?
censored podcast, but I was waiting for it.
My favorite thing to do is when you put you type crotch into Microsoft Sam.
Crotch.
It actually comes up as crow's nest. I don't know why.
As crow's nest.
Crow's nest.
Crow's nest.
Like it just does that.
Crow's Nest,
I
the
am
beloved
Microsoft
suburb of
Sam.
New South Wales.
Your computer's default voice.
Honestly, you're in the wrong business, man. You should be doing like random voiceovers.
Thank you.
You'll be getting sick. You're gonna make Jackson spit.
Gotcha.
I'm out of business now.
You said honestly, like Stephen Hawking lives on within you.
The spirit of Hawking.
You are the voice. I can't do it as well.
I'm like sucking in as I talk.
Hello.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a Commodore 64 like basic voice.
Welcome to the Commodore 64.
Oh my gosh.
It's
It's
like
too
the
good.
it's like the movie guy voice.
It is. It's in a world.
In a world.
In a city.
My movie guy voice impersonation stems from years ago. I used to think I could do it relatively well.
You can.
But have you guys ever played Metal Gear Solid?
Yes.
Solid Snake. Like that is the voice.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
exactly like David Hayter. Tyler. Jackson.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
In the city.
Tyler, how was your day today?
It was pretty good. It was very
Yeah.
chill.
Very chill.
Um,
Literally
I-
chill. It's getting cold out.
It's a bit cold in town. I have spent the day recovering from the huge thunderstorm that was here last night. It was bone chilling. Like it felt like it was right. Like it was in my house, like in my bedroom. I'm like, like I was shaking my windows and my bed and shit
yeah. It was like
and stuff.
at 2 at 2 a.m. like
It's pretty late, eh?
it was pretty late. You know what also bothers me when people say like 2 a.m. in the morning. I think it's already implied.
ATM machine.
ATM machine. I gotta go to the ATM machine. The automatic teller machine.
It's a machine that makes those machines, and you have to go to that.
Probably. Anyway, yeah, 2 a.m. in the morning. It's just thunder. Thunder hit. We were thunderstruck down under.
You'll be thunderstruck. Yeah, thunderstruck.
Can we turn Tyler down in these cans? Like that's too much.
I'll have to bring that down in the No, yeah, lightning and thunder flashing.
I've got you twice already.
I'm sorry, man.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Eric, how was your day?
Yeah, it's
What's news?
it's nothing.
What's this?
I think
What's
that's
this? What's
news.
this? Scoot over. Scoot over.
Scoot over.
What's happening right there?
I can't see anything.
It's just John Cena holding up a bunch of symbols.
We should have actually put like a John Cena thing behind the drum
Oh,
kit.
that would have been awesome.
that'd be cool. So yeah, this is the new addition here to Lad Studios.
PR is
Do you want the roundabout explanation, or do you want the just to it?
I want the
We want the
Eric,
roundabout.
I want the Eric Ladd.
All right, so I'm a big fan of the Vestalite drums from Ludwig. The clear acrylic drums became famous in the 1970s, early 1970s, most notably with John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, which we will talk about later.
The man, the myth.
The man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, but I have a set of Ludwig Vista lights back home, which I've talked about on this podcast before and off the podcast, off the record.
That's when you know we're a serious podcast. We
Yes.
can reference other podcasts.
Yes, I know. Back in episode
Next level.
next level, mate.
Please.
Yeah, man.
We walked in. You and I walked into Muso Stuff just up the road, local music store in Bendigo, Victoria, Australia.
At the top of Mitchell Street.
At the top of Mitchell Street. We walked in there a couple weeks ago, just cruising around, and I saw that there, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
It was, yeah.
So like 2 days after we filmed episode 2, because we can reference, you know what I mean? Episode 2, I was actually found myself daydreaming about it. Like, well, not daydreaming because it was in the morning and I was half awake. So I wasn't technically daydreaming, but I was like, mildly awake dreaming, lucid dreaming, visualizing. And I thought, man, that'd be a really cool kit to get. So I got it. I got it. The interesting thing about these guys, as opposed to the Ludwig Vista lights, is these are one entire sealed acrylic. So the acrylic shells, I believe, from Ludwig. Correct me if I'm wrong. Whatever. These are just basically one entire piece, so there's less chance of them cracking over time.
Yep. That's what you want.
Yeah. So the older Vista lights start to get hairline cracks in them. Just over time and being played. I think just because of the way that they were put together. But these are thick shells. Like,
You can
seriously.
have a look here. It's
Hashtag
crazy.
thick.
Yeah, thick with 2 C's.
And a K.
Yeah, and a K. Thick.
Just for good measure.
thick. No, big drums, big boomy sound. Sound great.
It's
honestly.
loud. It's massive.
It's really good. So,
It's at least 3 or 4 times louder than the kit you had here before.
which is up there.
and the sky cam.
And the sky cam, it's a little bit higher. So
But Tom is holding up.
So we are
the new
calling
sky
it
cam.
the Sky High Cam. It's propped up on a 10-inch tom or something right now.
I'm about 83% sure if that falls, it'll hit me. But
It's,
that'll be good viewing.
it's actually duct taped, so it's not falling this time, unless the phone actually falls out of the grip, which could happen.
That is possible, but let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Also, bear in mind, our fan favorite Canon 80D DSLR has a 30-minute time limit, so I apologize if it shuts off whilst we are talking because I'm just so caught up in the moment.
It does happen.
It does happen from time to time. Now, let's actually talk about how we met
Oh,
because we haven't talked about that before yet.
no, we haven't.
And
Let's turn back the clock a bit.
this will lead into our discussion for today.
I think Jackson's a famed storyteller. I think he should tell the tale.
Let's tell it. Tell it to him, Soldier Boy.
It all travels back now to, I'm going to say 2015-ish. 2015?
Yep.
All right. Let's go about then. Tyler and myself were in a local band called Navy Blue at the time, and we needed some mixing and mastering done. Andrew, our frontman, was actually working with you at the time, I believe,
At a call center.
at a call center.
It's like you have a voice for call centering or something.
I hate it. It's like the most soul-sucking job.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it pays the bills.
You've got the voice for it.
Yeah, I know.
You certainly
People used to think I was calling from like the FBI. Like seriously, no joke. It's happened a couple times. Like people will
Wow.
call up and they're like, "Hey," or I was like, "Hi, such and such. How can I help?" And they're like, "Are you calling? Where are you calling from? Are you calling from the FBI?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
I'm the CIA, obviously.
I'm the CIA. We've just updated our privacy policy."
That's it.
So continue, Jackson.
I can't really remember too much. A lot of those days were pretty hazy memories. No offense or anything like that, but yeah, I can't remember exactly where we were.
I think the first
Was
day
it at a gig or was
No.
it like a solo
it was
sort of
at,
session?
It was at local fast food restaurant Grilled. Is where I met Eric.
Yes, it was actually. Yes, I do remember that.
Like all four of us in the band at that stage were having lunch, and
And I came down.
because we wanted to explore some options as far as mixing and mastering our single went. And Andrew obviously knew you from work, and he asked you to come down, and we had some grilled, and
Yeah,
you and I got on like a house on fire, as we still do.
yeah, and Jackson as well.
Absolutely.
The house is still on fire, still burning. Nobody can put this flame out.
It's on fire. It's happening.
lit.
It's lit. No, it was good day.
Literature.
Literature. I thought we got along swimmingly, honestly. And,
absolutely.
we stayed in contact, and it was interesting. You guys played a live gig, and I ran the lighting for you one time at the Music Man.
Ah, yes.
I ran the lighting, somebody else did the sound, and then I did sound for you guys at the New Market.
Oh, God.
The sign that said "Cheeky Giggles." Do you remember that sign?
Oh, I'll never forget that time.
I try to forget that gig. But
you got to have bad gigs, though. They remind you of how good the other ones are, and they
that's
make
it.
you try
Put things
harder.
in perspective.
That's exactly right, man. I remember cramping me Dax a little bit because when it's a different beast doing like recorded sound to live sound, because you have to do everything like in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different. No pressure, right? No, but it was fun. Like it was good times. Good times. That single Navy Blue Alice is on iTunes still.
I think Hollow's on there as well.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't do that one. Or did I?
I can't remember.
I don't know if I did actually. I remember getting the files for it, but I don't think I could do anything with it.
Oh,
I also filmed you guys playing. Remember that? You guys,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was,
you did a lot for us, man.
I did.
We're still very appreciative of all your help back
I
then,
did.
as we still are to this day.
Well, that's fine. It was fun. Good times. Good
Yeah,
times.
it was fun.
So what's Jackson? What are we talking about in this podcast?
What are we talking about today?
How does what we're saying tie
We're
in?
talking about live gigs, shows we've seen, and some other third thing. No. I think we're going to go in that Russian roulette style again and
Yeah.
put everyone on the spot and say, hey, tell us about one of the coolest shows you've been to in however that, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just briefly interject?
Yes, please.
Should we?
I think we're still rolling.
Yeah, but like, are you just going to go when it cuts out?
Yeah. Well, I'll bear in mind. Well, what time did we actually start? I don't know. Once we do a little bit of ring around the rosy here, I'll cut to it.
All right, mate. No
So
worries.
no, thanks for the courtesy. Heads
Oh,
up, Ted.
that's all right. That's all right.
Ted's up.
It's a little segment.
It never gets old.
Do you want to kick us off today, Ted?
I sure do. Are we going to start like top three, like third best, second best, first best? Do you want to do it that way?
Either.
Yeah.
I haven't got a hierarchy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say him.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a good way. I haven't really hierarchied them either. I was going to do that on the spot. But one of my favorite gigs of all time goes back all the way back to 2011 at Soundwave. I caught a particular little band called Primus in concert.
Heyo.
Wow, didn't see that coming.
Not many people do. Everyone's like, oh, you just like metal or like hip hop or jazz or classical, but nothing like Primus. Like it's non-genreable kind of
It's
music.
probably all of those above genres put together in all
Did you-
honesty.
And that's why I love it.
Primus is the band that's like, did you just assume my genre?
Pretty much. For those that don't know, Primus is probably most well known for doing the original South Park intro. It's not their best work, but it's what they're known for. And you can imagine that kind of music in like 7 or 8, even 9 different albums. It's crazy
It's
stuff.
odd. It's kooky. It's all over the place.
It's really weird.
Just seeing Les Claypool and, well, I mean, he travels with lots of different sessions musicians, but just him in person, like wearing like a pig mask and playing this like $20,000 like custom bass. It was just an experience, and it's still like I saw a lot of great bands that day. I saw Slayer just after Primus.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It was amazing.
Was it raining blood?
By the end, yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually raining. I was at that Soundwave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
And
you go.
I remember somebody made the pun and I just shunned them off. Just come on,
As you
man.
should have. As you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
have.
yeah.
It was actually me.
Shunned yourself. But yeah, that was definitely the highlight of that Soundwave, and probably the best band I've seen at any Soundwave I've been to. Yeah, and just seeing Les Claypool, the character in person, like, I mean, he's just a crazy whacked out dude. I don't know whether you guys know the story about him auditioning for the bass player position in Metallica,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and Metallica had to turn him back because he's too good and too weird.
He
That's
wouldn't-
my kind of person.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have fit though.
No,
You know what I
not
mean?
Not
Like,
at all.
Man, it was that whole, we talked about this in episode 2 because we can reference now.
We sure can.
Or no, episode 1, I'm sorry. The Saint Anger documentary. It was really cool watching
Yeah,
them
yeah.
fill that position. Similar to, do you guys get into Dream Theater at all?
A
little bit here and there.
When Mike Portnoy left the band, it was interesting to watch the thing, like how they're going to fill that spot. And obviously they did with Mike Mangini,
Yes.
who has an even bigger setup than Mike Portnoy. But it's interesting to see all the different drummers that actually,
It is interesting just watching that hiring and like trialing out process. It's great.
Yeah, it's a crazy process. But no, Primus is really weird band. That's the only way I can describe it.
Innovative.
Innovative, weird, strange, but like that's the kind of stuff I like. Stuff that pushes the envelope a little bit. So, and that was still one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
I think it's ideal for a festival environment also.
Oh yeah,
Like a solo Primus gig, you have to be a very devoted fan. But anybody going past a Primus gig at a music festival is
gonna be
going to be
taken aback.
intrigued. And
Absolutely.
they're going to be like, whoa, all right, that was an experience.
Yeah, for
so I'm all about it.
It's really
I'd,
weird.
I'd still love to see him in person. I missed him out. They were just here probably a month or two ago.
Really?
Yeah, I missed out unfortunately. But as always, next time. Can't imagine Les going anywhere. So, all right, Mr. Eric, what is one of your top concerts of all time?
This is hard. I actually wrote down every single show I've seen in what year and where today. And I
Free time much?
and I found
What's the tally at?
I actually didn't count. And I'm pretty sure I didn't even do all of them as well, because you can just see like there's the list.
It's a long list.
It was bigger back in my
There's
young-
at least 200 words there.
yeah, at least. It's very tough, honestly. What shows to rank?
Well, if we just do like our three favorite, I know that's probably just as hard.
Three favorite. Yeah, okay. We'll do three favorite. So one of my favorite shows, I mentioned this in episode 1 because we can reference. One of my
Can't wait to reference the references we make in this one.
one of my favorite bands of all time is The Pillows. They're a Japanese rock band made famous for the soundtrack for FLCL or Fully Cooley on Adult Swim.
So good, man.
Yeah, I've been following them for years and years and years, and they were one of my very first bands that I got into. And they very rarely, if ever, would venture out of Japan. And sadly enough, I was in Japan this time last year, and the day before that I was going to leave, they were playing a show where I was staying. It was like a half an hour train ride or something like that from where I was staying. And I went to the venue, and I went on Google Translate and I said, "Ticket wanted, please." And I held it in Japanese, like I wrote it in kanji or whatever it was. And I held the sign up, and nobody came up to me. I was devastated because I wanted to go to that show so damn bad.
Do they play a lot over there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They tour at least once a year. So
Oh,
I'm
good.
going to try and get over to Japan again next year.
When we do our live podcast there next year?
Yes. The live room in Tokyo. Honestly, I would do it.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I would podcast on the plane. It'd be fun.
Oh, let's crowdfund it. Patreon/live room podcast.
That's funny.
We also take PayPal donations.
PayPal, non-refundable, tax deductible. You know shit. But the Pillows came to the U.S. in 2008. I think they came there first in 2007. They actually played in Mexico and made their way up. But I was made aware of them coming to New York City. And I thought that was cool. I'd be like, oh, I'd like to go to that, but I didn't really say anything. And then all of a sudden I came home from school one day and there were the tickets, and I was like,
Wow.
Hey.
parents know best, right? Honestly, I like
They really do.
No set of parents could have ever like tried to steer me in the right direction other than my real parents, which obviously are my real parents. But like encouraging me through going to see like even a random show like The Pillows at the Gramercy Theater.
Oh,
in
great theater.
I believe it's now the PlayStation Ballroom. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Well, a lot of wrestling shows still go there, and they still call it the Gramercy Theater.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, it was good. They were filming a documentary at the time as well of their like travels over to the U.S. And you can see me waiting in line, and you can see my father like just pacing back in line after having a cigarette or something. So like it's immortalized in time. And it was it's a hell of a good show. Honestly, that music it's very, very inspirational to me.
You're a legitimate fan. It's in the record books.
It's legitimately in the record books. And I actually waited for like an hour after the show, and I actually went up and met them as well. So I went up and shook their hands, with their broken English and stuff. Like they're tiny hands, tiny little guys. Japanese guys are small.
Were they soft like pillows?
They were soft like pillows, like microfiber pillows. Like
Wow, not latex pillows.
no.
None of this memory foam stuff.
Maybe on the border of like duck feather or goose feather.
So quite soft, quite comfortable.
Like the kind of sleep that if you're going to sink your head into it, it's going to be at like your grandma's house.
Yeah.
Kind of pillow.
I'm there. I can imagine.
but it was good.
3 times.
But it was good. It was a good show. I had pictures of it, but we took pictures on our Olympus digital camera.
Like a cool pics.
Yeah, or something like that. But there's footage I took. I think my father took of the show on my YouTube channel. which is on YouTube /Zeppelin211. The pillows,
Vintage.
vintage.
Zeppelin fan also.
It's like over 10 years old now. That YouTube account. So yeah,
Can I just interject quickly? Why wasn't that channel called Lad Zeppelin?
that honestly, like, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Well, I think you're a lot more punny now than you may
I
used to
am.
be. Yeah,
I am. Now that I'm getting close to having kids, like, being a father, like the dad puns are just spewing out of me.
That's the first. That's
Getting
the first
out of
sign.
control.
It's the first sign. Yes. So yeah, the pillows, 2008. It was my freshman
10
year of high
years
school.
ago.
Yeah. Jackson, where are you for one of your?
All right. I took a bit of a different direction than you guys. I kind of like the list I put together is mainly the bands that have helped inspire me in finding a new genre, if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So a couple of the bands are going to be referencing a kind of a clash of genres, so to speak. I'm talking about one of the old hardcore favorites from back in the day, Enter Shikari. Oh. Boys out of the UK. These guys were known for their hardcore style early on, and also a lot of like electronica sort of music with like micro corgs and like that sort of vibe.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And as I went on over the years, the dubstep revolution really, took off. Skrillex was huge and all that. And they really adapted to that sound. It was very much a UK sort of, thing to do, I guess. And I got to say, I've seen them twice. I can't remember the venue of the first one, but the second one was at 170 Russell in Melbourne. And they have like a really solid, setup there for the speakers. So the bass and everything just destroys you.
You feel it, yeah.
You feel it like nothing else. And I just got to say, it was very impressive seeing a gig that is just a good mix of like hardcore metal, electronica, and just that insane dubstep. That just,
They go well together.
it's an experience. That's all I got to say. It was pretty eye opening.
The back in those days when metal was like, people started doing metal covers of like party rock. Do you remember that? Do you remember that shit?
Yeah,
It was just like
compilation albums and stuff.
like Punk Goes Pop, but like they would still mix in that dubstep or with the breakdowns. It was weird, but it worked.
Like grindcore goes
Yeah.
ska. Like
Something that's very specific.
it's a great album.
Is it real? Is that real? Is it
No,
real?
no.
It should be.
It will make it. Lad Studios first.
Okay.
Get on that.
So
A Led Zeppelin production.
I love it. So Jackson, what tell me, like, how did you find yourself at this gig? This was something that you were really interested back in the day, back when you played your Gibson SG?
It was actually probably just more a friend that got me into Enter Shikari. In all honesty, it was a pretty spontaneous gig to go to. I didn't know
They're
much
sometimes
of
the
their
best ones.
previous work at the time. I think it was around the release of somewhere between the second and third album they released. I just had a friend going down to Melbourne like, dude, I'm going to see these guys. And I'm like, whether he had a spare ticket, his girlfriend couldn't go, something along those lines. And I just jumped on it right away. Checked out their music and it just ticked the box right away. I've always been into more experimental music just from day one. So I heard them and it was a thumbs up right away from me. So
That's pretty cool.
spontaneous.
Ticks all the boxes for you, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's what she said.
High energy band. High energy.
That's it.
One of the this isn't making my list, but one of the more high energy bands I've seen, actually, two, August Burns Red. I saw them in like a hometown gig, kind of. It was wasn't necessarily, it wasn't in Lancaster. It was somewhere near there. But August Burns Red is from like Amish country, Pennsylvania, which is where I grew up.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a funny story. I went and saw them before, like the day before my 18th birthday, I think. It was in Harrisburg. I can't remember where it was. I used to play there from time to time back in my metal days. But it was really high energy show. Like it was good. Like it was the music that I was listening to at that time, and it was so gratifying to see something similar to that. Like really high energy, just fast paced stuff, breakdowns.
Guitar flips.
And it's really funny because there was one Amish guy at that show. There was like an Amish guy at that
What
show.
is this musical establishment?
He was like waiting in line and like he had the Amish beard. Like he was dead set like Mennonite Amish. Like
Wow.
he probably came there like a horse and buggy, like Uber or something like that. But he was like crowd surfing and shit too.
Just getting into
Like
it.
he went on the stage and did a stage dive and crowd surfed like with his hat on, and it was like the most ridiculous coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, this is lovely. Bring on the next lute solo.
That was basically what it was like.
Folk music has really took a turn.
That's what
A
happened.
big turn.
A big turn.
That's awesome. He just took it on board and got so into it.
It was
though.
just really weird.
I bet you it's still the greatest experience of that man's life.
Probably.
Like just being in a room with functioning electricity.
He went back to churn butter later that day. He's like, what am I doing with my life?
I know. There's not enough breakdowns in his life. Second most high energy band I've seen was 4 Years Strong.
Oh,
Do you know them, Jackson?
I love
I got onto them kind of late because they released a new album kind of recently.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
3 years ago or something like that. Gee, they were good.
Oh, mate.
I've seen them twice. I saw them in Philadelphia, and then I saw them in Allentown at the Crocodile Rock Cafe. I used to play there as well
That's
frequently.
a cool name for a venue, I gotta say.
Yeah. High energy band. I met them as well.
I just love how they're all like big bearded dudes.
I know.
It's like if you and me cloned ourselves and started a band.
That's would basically be
Crazy.
it.
And Jackson was our manager.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Something like that.
Good manager.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jackson Jones. Ow. Big Ted. What's number 2 on your list? What's your deuce? Drop it on me.
I've been waiting for that to happen in one of these.
Give me a
podcasts.
Cleveland steamer.
Oh, gosh.
Deuce of clubs, let's go.
Number 2 for me is Caspian. I went to see a post-rock band called Caspian. You're pretty much exactly right.
Wall of sound.
Wall of sound. They're just behemoth of a band. It's like you go into the room and like there's so much sound and atmosphere going on. It's just thick. They were my favorite band for a long time, probably for a good 2 years in 2014, 2015. And I've been into them for a while, but they were like my favorite. That's all I listened to. I went to see them at the Evelyn Hotel in Fitzroy, Brunswick Street. Great little venue, that one. And I went there with a couple of mates, and we just were walking around Brunswick Street, and I just caught out of the corner of my eye like their main guitarist. He's like 6'6", 6'7" dude called Phil.
Hard to miss him.
Small
Very
Ted.
hard to miss. And he was just having a coffee there. I'm like, oh, hey, Phil, we're big fans of your music, man. Like, we're coming to your gig later. He's like, oh, that's awesome, man. But he had a much deeper voice.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And
Microsoft Sam.
He sounded a lot like him. He actually
Microsoft
did.
Phil, Sam's like weird brother.
So we were just chatting like 5 minutes
There's a
and
bass
stuff.
hat on.
You know, like how he's finding Australia. I think that was our first time in 10 years.
He's
since I've
American
been-
guy.
Yeah. I can't remember where they're from. Boston, I think. Massachusetts.
Something about him. Something about those American guys. I don't know.
Yeah, just great men. Great men. Especially Donald Trump. Anyway, we're talking for 5 minutes, and at the end of the conversation, she's like,
hey, man, what's your favorite song?
and I'm like, oh, probably one of your singles from the latest album, Halls of Summer. He's like,
All right, I'll play that tonight, and I'll shout it out to you.
I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you very much. And then they played a 90-minute set after a while, and probably about 60 minutes into the set.
This one goes out to Big Ted.
Close. But he's like, this one goes out to my new buddy, Brad, Byler. Oh no, Tyler. This one goes out to you, man. I'm like, what kind of name is Byler?
Did he really say that?
Yeah, Byler. B-Y-L-E-R.
Brad,
Byler.
Tyler.
How do you get to that conclusion? Like Brad and Tyler have no middle ground at all.
But so for the rest of that day, and the mates I went with for the next month just called me Byler, and I was okay with it.
Boiler.
I have a funny Brad story just to jump in there.
What about a Byler story?
I'm still working on the fine details. When I got my first tattoo, which was like this kind of large sort of sword piece going on here, tattoo artists are obviously very active on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he's like, great sesh today, Brad. Awesome to see you. It was a lot of fun doing this tattoo. But he called me Brad. I'm like, how did he get Brad from Jackson?
Bradson.
Bradson?
That's your first son's nickname.
Anyway, Brad just must be the default name when you can't remember somebody's name.
I've never defaulted to Brad at all.
Might be an Australian thing. Or when people are in Australia.
Brad. There was only one kid I ever knew whose name was Brad, and he came to my birthday party in first grade.
Please tell me you didn't call him Brad. You called him by his full name of Bradley.
I called him. No. Not that you say
B-Rad.
Bradley. Not that they say Bradley. There was just some idiot kid who I played basketball with back in the day. Like, like we never won.
It's just one of those names, isn't it?
We never won any of these games at all. Like my father was the coach, and we used to bust our asses like playing.
It was all Brad's fault.
And Brad just ruined it every time. Like we'd be hustling up the court, and he would just throw the ball like
Butterhands Brad over here.
mid court, like doing these weird shots. I'm like, dude, your name is Brad, not LeBrad James. You guys NBA fans at all?
Yeah,
You guys follow?
of course.
What do you think?
I'm not that into it.
I'm not active with the latest season. I'm a bit lazy there. But,
I'm watching the postseason. I'm watching the Cavs.
when finals get on, I get on board.
Yeah. So it's the Cavs versus the Warriors again. No mention of anybody named Brad.
I don't reckon there'd be a Brad on any of those teams.
No. Tell
Which
me.
is good.
Tell me, nobody's ever seen a black guy named Brad.
I don't think so.
Honestly,
I think my laughter is a response.
LeBrad.
LeBrad,
LeBrad kind of works.
LeBrad,
LeBrad Jones.
LeBrad. I get it.
Just Facebook him. He'll be around.
Book him.
Book him. He's our next guest.
Trump.
Look, Jackson. Let's go to you for your next one because I've just been talking.
It's
a lot.
time for
Number
you to
two.
give us your number 2.
Let's have a little bit of a think. I wrote these down.
Facebook.
I wrote these down. Let's have a little look.
Give
So
us
we
some,
had Enter Shikari. All right, this one's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Again, a little bit of a dubstep influence in this one.
really.
But a reggae band.
Yes.
This band was called Kingfisher. They're based in Queensland, Australia. I think that's right. Might be Byron Bay. Who knows?
It's all the same.
Definitely an East Coast band.
Anyway, a similar sort of vibe to the Enter Shikari gig. I didn't really know too much about these guys, Kingfisher. And I had some friends who were going to the gig. And hey, Jackson,
I was one
want
of
to come on board? Tyler was
Brad.
there.
Hey, Brad, do you want to go see Kingfisher?
No.
Byler.
Byler. Similar sort of thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like, obviously, like reggae's a fun show. Like, you want to go to that. It's kind of a rarity these days.
Oh, for sure.
But experiencing a reggae band in the modern day, again, pretty eye-opening. And a lot of the influence, again, comes from the UK. Because dubstep culture, for starters, is from the UK. And they took on a lot of reggae influence in a lot of their, like, their timing, that like
Definitely.
1, 2, 3, good one, that sort of timing with the drums and that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it kind of evolved, obviously, over the years. And like, they all have the reggae sort of stuff going on, almost ska-ish, lots of instruments. But they add what's called like just dub synth, I guess, over the top, just
Yeah.
to make it sound massive. And they'll put in freestyle rappers over the top. Not saying that Kingfisher necessarily had like the rapping dub part, but all the support acts on the show beforehand. Pretty eye-opening stuff. It was just, it was underground, it was cool, it was gangster, and it was fun.
It was a great experience all around too, like from start to finish, wasn't it? Yeah, just the whole gig was great.
And on top of that, the reggae and just the whole soul vibe, just the energy of the room, it was all there. People are dancing, swaying. It was just, an enlightening gig, if you will.
You've mentioned the word UK twice now, and it's just jogged my memory that I've seen a band that I have forgotten about since the day that I saw them. Have you guys ever heard of a UK band called Gallows?
Yeah, of course. I love Gallo.
I saw them on their first show in the US with their most recent singer, who was playing in a band called Alexis on Fire. Is that it?
I think so.
I could be wrong.
I'm aware of,
You've just reminded me because you said UK, and I'm like, I've seen somebody from the UK. And
Gallows.
Gallows, yeah.
When did you see them?
I saw them at the Crocodile Rock Cafe with 4 Years Strong.
Oh, that would have been a good
Gallows was the headlining act. This was after their singer Frank Carter left.
I
They
love that man.
They are a good band.
Frank
Gallows.
Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, really good.
he's still kicking.
He is, yeah. He's still kicking. Gallows not so much anymore now, but Gallows was good. Like I didn't know who they were, but I started listening to them after that with the original singer Frank.
It's good gym music.
Wow, good stuff. Angry music.
Oh, absolutely.
Angsty, high energy once again.
Yeah, has
Yeah.
nothing to do with my number 2 pick,
Which is?
which is the most recent show I've seen.
Hey,
There we go.
Which is, I'm a big fan of Led
we
Zeppelin.
called it before the show.
You did call it. No, I'll tell you. with everything I say on this podcast, I have a little bit of a lead up to, just purely because it's long form. You know what I mean?
You're good at that.
So Led Zeppelin was one of my favorite bands as a kid, and obviously they dismantled in 1980 after their drummer John Bonham died of choking on his own vomit after drinking like 40 shots of like Jack Daniels or something.
As was the style at the time.
Yes. So somebody forgot to turn him on his side, and he choked on his own vomit and died.
Wow.
I think he was only 32. So he spent all the last 12 years of his life in Led Zeppelin. 50th anniversary of Led Zeppelin this year, guys.
Wow.
The Big 5-0.
The Big 5-0. So Led Zeppelin very rarely reunited, ever, obviously, because there was nobody to fill the gap. So they reunited once in 1985, the Live Aid show. They played in Philadelphia. Fun fact, the Live Aid DVD that you can buy in the Blu-ray, Led Zeppelin is not on it, even though they actually played that show, because they said the show was so bad that they didn't want to
They
see
just said, pull us. Nah.
Yeah, pull
like
it.
not interested.
So it's on YouTube. They only played like Stairway to Heaven, Rock and Roll. I don't know, just
Black Dog, something like that.
Yeah, just real minimal,
Wow.
no rehearsal. They had Tony Thompson from Chic and Phil Collins play drums. Nobody even like relative to their style. And then they reunited another time at John Bonham's son's wedding, Jason Bonham. They played, there's no footage of it other than a couple photos online. And then once again for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I believe they were inducted in 1998. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. And then one more time, the last time at this stage, in 2007 at the O2 Dome in London, which I actually had tickets to. Did you guys know this?
No.
Tickets to a London show.
Yes. This was the biggest missed opportunity and biggest regret of my life of all time. Like
Wow.
100%. So I was 14 years old at the time, freshman year in high school. I moved from my hometown to Central Square, New York, which is my now hometown. That's where I'm from. So I knew nobody in my life like at this stage, and I didn't know anybody. So I was a very, very sad kind of kid. You know what I mean? Just figuring out the world, as it happens.
Humble beginnings.
Humble
Hey,
beginnings.
episode 1.
Reference because
We can do that.
Because we can do that. It's really funny. So anyway, I found out Led Zeppelin was reuniting in 2007 for Atlantic Records tribute to the founder, Ahmet Ertegun. He was the guy who founded the label.
Yeah.
Back when record labels actually meant something.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were reuniting, and there was like 22,000 people in this arena, and you could enter to win tickets to this show. So I guess my father entered, and we won.
Wow.
We won tickets to see Led Zeppelin. I remember being like blown away.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we just won tickets to see Led Zeppelin. I'm thinking,
That doesn't get much.
as a kid,
That's
you know what I
That's
mean?
the coolest
Yeah.
prize ever.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of shows, like a lot of bands that I like are older bands that I've had the privilege to see most of them. Fun fact, I saw Cream's very last show, October 26th, Madison Square
I was
Garden.
going to ask if you've seen
2005. Yes, I have. I've seen him once.
You and your last shows.
I know. So I could have seen Led Zeppelin, but we couldn't go because we couldn't afford tickets and I couldn't get passports in time. I was just devastated as a kid.
Oh, for sure.
Biggest regret.
And that's a huge gig. 22,000.
It would have been the highest selling show or the highest grossing show of all time. The only way you could get to the show was by winning this lottery and then showing your ID at the gates. Like you could not resell these tickets at all. So I missed out on that show. So anyway,
It happens.
long roundabout way. Jason Bonham, the son of John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, he played that gig with the guys from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Which is now on the Celebration Day CD and DVD pack, which is now available. So I'm kicking myself because I would have been at that gig.
Oh, for sure.
But I still have CD and DVD. Anyway, he has a show that's called the Led Zeppelin Experience, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience, and they were coming to Australia. They were originally supposed to come in January. I couldn't get tickets because I was playing a show. I had prior commitments, and I didn't want to let those people down, so I had to. So they actually canceled that little bit of Australian tour and postponed it to last week. Funnily enough, I thought I couldn't go because I had to play a show with the same group.
Something's always getting in the way of you and Led Zeppelin. bro.
I know, and so like I played a gig with those guys on Friday, but the show actually ended up being on Thursday. So I was like, oh, we can go, but I didn't want to like spend that much money at once. And then all of a sudden, I get an email from my wife, and she's just like, check your email, and then boom, they're the tickets. So I'm like, This is why you get married. So we got tickets.
I'm working on it.
We got tickets to the Palais Theater in St.
Yep.
Have you guys been there?
Classic venue.
Really nice venue, honestly. Really old school venue. And they were just so loud, and it was everything that I wanted it to be because I'm such a big Led Zeppelin fan. And they just kicked off with the Immigrant Song.
Oh.
It was just loud.
That's 0 to 100 right there.
It was
Exactly.
like it was like so loud. Like the kick drum was so loud in the mix, like you nearly got motion sick from it. That's what I want though.
Oh, yeah, of
I want
course.
my ass rocked off when I go to a show. No, but it was good. They
Go
also-
to dubstep shows, man.
they have a guy playing with them now. His name is Mr. Jimmy Sakurai. He got famous from being a Jimmy Page lookalike in Japan.
Wow.
And long story short, he's been playing with Jason Bonham now because he's like doppelganger. It's scary. He even moves like him, looks like him, dresses like him, plays like him. So it's like as close to Led Zeppelin as I'm ever going to get. So there's my long-winded number 2.
And it delivered like everything you wanted it to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, though.
I mean, like if
That's hard to achieve.
I will come see them every time. now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like I do not like tribute shows or cover bands at
That's
all.
as good as it gets for a tribute show, though, right?
And it's like as close as it's going to get because it's like the son of the drummer. You know what I mean? Like
it's still
it's like
real.
It's like, but it was good. It was a good show. Really good show. Lots of fun.
Fantastic.
Yes. So
I'm glad it was everything you wanted it to
that was
be.
a long-winded answer, but I had to do it.
There's a lot of juicy stuff in there.
Yes.
A lot of stuff I didn't know. I never got into Led Zeppelin when I was younger. So
Led Zeppelin is like one of the reasons why I live and breathe the way I do now.
yeah,
I'm surprised they only got together so few times over
They just couldn't
like a
do it.
20, 30 year sort of
Yeah.
pace, I guess.
They wouldn't. They just wouldn't be honest to the music and the musicians in that band.
they sound like true artists.
Yeah, really were.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, Big Ted.
Moving
Yes.
on to number 3, round 3, yeah.
Number 3, yes, indeed. I'm going definitely a bit left of field here. My number 3 is a classical guitarist in Australia called Slava Gregorian. A lot of people know, but some of you won't. I started my guitar journey. I played classical guitar for about 4 years. Classically trained. I did a lot of music exams and stuff in
Nylon string.
nylon string,
Cool.
all the stance
Nice.
and everything, the posture.
Footstool.
Yeah, footstool. I've still got the same footstool, man. Like, yeah,
Perfect form.
absolutely. Like a lute
Flamenco.
player, like a bard. Anyway, my grandma is a big like classical music fan. Like she plays organ at her church and stuff like that. So she pretty much goes to any kind of classical gig at the Capitol Theatre, even still to this day. But I've seen him 4 times now, Slava Gregorian, all at the Capitol Theatre. And yeah, he's just blown my mind. Like as a young person, like just starting to get the flow of playing a guitar, seeing someone master that instrument, like in front of your eyes, like properly master it. It was very special. And sharing it with my grandma and some of my closest family 4 times now was a really cool experience. So, and that was really hard to pick that over seeing Iron Maiden in 2008, but it edges it. It edges that.
That's tough.
Very tough.
Wow.
Iron Maiden a pretty monster.
I've seen him twice. I saw him at the Somewhere Back in Time tour in 2008
And the Soundwave?
and the Soundwave.
That was incredible, that show. Like they changed the set every like couple songs
Yeah, it
just
was-
to like
It's
to
insane.
make the album that it's off.
Exactly. Yeah.
relevant in that.
It's a great show, but the Somewhere Back in Time tour was 10 times better than that. And that was amazing. It was just, yeah.
Wow.
And then Slav Gregorian meant more to me. Just an intimate 200 people crowd at the Capitol
That's
Theatre.
it. And like he's a true master of his craft.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's-
He's one of Australia's finest guitarists. And yeah, like he's just a stand up guy. He also did one of the 4 gigs with his brother, Leonard Gregorian. And yeah, just a duet of just 2 talented people playing on stage. It was beautiful. Yeah.
That's cool. I wouldn't expect that from you. But like,
Nobody does.
is it Primus in that?
Primus, Caspian, and
yeah.
Slava Gregorian.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Jackson.
all right.
Number 3, my lord. Number 3.
Well, to get a bit left of field, so to speak, also, it's actually the last gig I've been to.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
And I'm basically just putting it out there because it was just the most metal gig imaginable
It was insane.
for $40.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Australian band Thy Art Is Murder. Behemoths of the Australian metal sort of community, I guess. They had a pretty awesome lineup that opened the bill also, Fit for an Autopsy, Imua,
Justice for the Damned.
Justice for the
They
Damned.
opened. Local guys.
And what's cool about the Thy Art Is Murder gig is the frontman actually left the band there for an extended period of time, I guess, and then reunited. And then I believe they did maybe one tour, but this was like the next tour with their latest album. And it was actually the first time I got to see them live. I actually got to meet the frontman once at a Liquorland of all places.
Liquorland.
He doesn't drink, but I think the other guys in the band.
Liquor? I don't even know her.
Oh, we might have to edit that one out.
These jokes, they're coming. Are you expecting? Or?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've cleared that up.
Not yet.
Check your emails, Eric.
Check my emails.
There might be a few tickets in there for you, mate.
Oh yeah, ticket to the ER.
So yeah, look, I actually got to meet the frontman very briefly, and
CJ.
he was doing a gig that particular night. I was obviously working. I couldn't see that gig, so I'm like, dude, next time I get the chance, I'll go to your gig. And I just made that happen, and it really delivered. Just metal at its finest form. He's an amazing frontman, perfect vocals. The guitar work is awesome,
It's
and
insane.
their last two albums have been pretty incredible.
You know the crazy thing about your top three? I was with you for all of them.
Were you really?
Yeah.
That's pretty
We were
cool.
at the Soundwave 2011 together.
You went at Enter Shikari.
Oh, no, we weren't. No, sorry. My mistake.
Most of my bands have been with you though, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very romantic of us.
It is. But yeah, that show was insane. Like, Thy Art Is Murder is probably the biggest death metal band in the world now.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it doesn't get
CJ's
much
the best
bigger
vocalist.
as a metal band as those guys.
No.
But like the main kicker, why I'm putting it in the list, it was $40.
$40.
$40.
It does, like it's
would've
unheard
paid,
of.
I would have paid $40 just to see Justice for the Damned, their opener. They're like amazing young guys just doing like metal.
Solid
right.
stuff.
Yeah. That was the most intense gig I've ever been to. It was very impactful, but not like the other three I had on my list.
I've got a big contrast to yours because my number 3, obviously, we've called this before. We know what it is. Us three know what it is. But it
Navy
was
Blue, right?
It was Navy Blue at Music Man. No.
Which one?
I believe I saw your debut show, didn't I? I did.
I think you said I saw our debut and our last show.
I did. Yes, I did.
Both the Music Man.
Actually, no, I might not have been at Music Man because of the last show because I would have been away.
Oh, you were too.
Was that when you were
Back in the homeland.
Was that a 5-piece you guys played? Did you
We
guys?
never played as a 5-piece.
Interesting.
Complications.
Well, my big contrast is your last favorite show was $40. Mine was like $750. And there is a reason why.
Front row tickets to Pink, right?
Pink, yes. Honestly,
She puts on a killer show, man.
she does a killer show. No, as mentioned before in episode number 1,
But you know,
because we can do this
because
now.
we can reference.
We can reference now. One of my favorite bands is Rush. I've seen Rush a total of 5 times.
Count them on one hand.
2007, June 29th, 2007 in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which was the day the iPhone came out.
Which iPhone?
The original.
The first
Goodness
one.
gracious. What a day.
The iPhone. So that was the first time I saw Rush, and I was stoked. It was on the Snakes and Arrows tour. Then I saw Rush within 2 days of each other. I saw them at the Nikon Amphitheater in Long Island or Staten Island, New York. I was front row center.
Wow.
Front row center. I don't mess around with tickets. Like, if I'm going to go see a show, I'm going to pay as much as I can to be as close as I can. I don't go to a show if I sit in the back row. Plain and simple. Doesn't happen. So I was front row center and I saw Rush.
That's awesome.
And then 2 days later, or the next day, do you know Stephen Colbert?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
They played on the Colbert Show the next day. All right. And then I saw them the day after that in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
So you went to the Stephen Colbert show?
No, but I watched them on television play Tom Sawyer live.
Did you
Obviously,
get
you
sick
need
of
a
them
night
after
off.
this?
No, I was never get sick of Rush.
There you go.
So I saw them
True
like
fan.
within 3 days of each other, pretty much. It was a good show, Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then I saw them in Buffalo, New York, on their most recent album tour, which would be their last album tour. I saw them second row in Buffalo. It's a good show. But then the mother of all shows, this was the R40, their 40th anniversary tour And I was living in Australia after just having met you guys at this time, and I knew that they were going to go on tour, and I was going to kill myself if I couldn't, like, not literally, but like I was just kicking myself if I couldn't go see these guys, like the biggest band of all time, and I'm on another continent. Like I can't not miss it. I can't not go. So I was watching videos of the tour and everything as it started, and I was still in Australia at the time, and I'm like, this is going to be such a good show because of what they were doing. It was like the Time Machine tour. So they were basically starting with their most recent album and playing the set list back all the way to their very first album. And
Nice.
their stage setup changed to fit the era of the music that they were playing. So like their most recent setup was like modern amps and everything. And then like they're back to their high school days for the very first show. So like it looked like they were playing in a high school gymnasium with like tiny little amps. Like there was an amp on like a chair. You know what I mean? Like it was very fitting, but they were like, one of the biggest bands in the world. So I'm thinking, I can't not go. So my visa was expiring. My travel working visa was expiring like on August something 2014. Or sorry, 15. And I was like, okay, I've got to go. So I went to see their last show at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. I paid like $750 for a ticket from like Ticketmaster. And here's the scariest part. I wanted to laminate my ticket so it wouldn't get damaged or anything. I laminated it and it got blacked out on the other side. I was so scared. Like it was really bad. Like you could just make out the number and the barcode.
It's a $750 ticket.
But like the ticket was nearly got burned under the infrared of the.
yeah.
Yeah, it scared the absolute shit out of me. Honestly, I was like crying nearly. But anyway, I flew over. I stayed at a Super 8 motel in Los Angeles for 2 days prior, and then I saw them on August 30th or whatever. Or June 31st, that's what it was. That was their last show ever. And then I flew back home the next morning, like within 8 hours of seeing the show.
So it was a 40th year anniversary and a calling it.
That was basically
Sort
it.
of show.
It was rumored as if they were never going to tour again, like that large of a scale.
Right.
Like I knew deep within me, the motherly instinct that we men have. I knew they were never going to play again.
Eric's
So
intuition.
there's only one other group that I would spend that much money and that much risk on. Do you know who it would be?
Kiss.
Daft Punk.
I agree there.
I would
Yeah.
start selling stuff to see them.
And tickets would be around that price too, I
Yeah,
think.
they would.
They played in New Zealand at some point in time, a good couple of years ago.
2007. That was their last tour, the Live 2007 tour.
I can't remember the number off the top of my head. Like you probably know it, but like the ticket prices were ridiculous for that, right?
Yeah, they would have been. So Rush, there you go. That's I would have done anything. And now obviously they've announced that they've never really formally announced, okay, we're done, but like they're done.
You can feel it.
They're
yeah.
done. It's been a couple
Can I
years.
just say that you are like, as far as fan goes, you're like a super fan of
Yes.
all your bands.
Yep.
Like you'll go to the ends of the earth to do what you can to see them.
There's not many bands that I really truly love. Like
Got to respect that.
You do.
Got to respect.
I was talking to my wonderful wife the other day on the back from the car ride, on the way back from the car ride of the Jason Bonham concert. It's getting to the point now where all the bands that I like, because I like older bands, they'll all be gone. I won't see them. So I very rarely go to concerts because I'm just so picky. You know what I mean?
So you go all out when they do announce
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, I started going to less and less shows now that I've gotten older. Man, I've got such a long running list of shows, which we can go over later on after I give myself a little talking break. Don't want to get people sick of me. So like, what other shows have you guys seen? Not necessarily top three, but any other highlights or?
Yeah, an honorable mention for me
Yes.
would be, I can't remember what year Soundwave it was, because we were at that Soundwave together as well. But being and seeing Korn
Really?
at that Soundwave
The monster.
was an experience.
Did you see them the next day as well?
No,
Because that's what happens when you eat corn.
Comes out the next day and the same. At least it's the same, you know.
Yeah.
But it was monster, because like that same Soundwave, you had Alice in Chains, like
Wow.
like
It was very much like a 90s renaissance
absolutely.
soundwave.
Yep, and it was special. But so I can't remember what bands were playing it around the same time as Korn, but I can guarantee 70 to 80% of the entire crowd was there at Korn.
They had the biggest crowd of the day.
Oh, easily. And like when they do some of their big drops and stuff like that, just the crowd in unison. Yeah. It's just awesome. so much power. You know, you just feel like you're part of like a human ocean.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a good band name, that Human Ocean.
Human. It's a bit like human nature, but like
It's a bit like
It's
Waves
more
of
watery.
Babies. Waves of Babies by Tosin Abasi.
That's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
Good song.
Jackson, any other things that stick out?
On the topic of sound waves, you could say Limp Bizkit, just to kind of like, be in the same new metal context as Korn. But what was kind of cool with the show I saw was there was a guy on a wheelchair, basically like in the first couple rows.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, lift me up, man, lift me up. And everybody's like lifting up this guy on a wheelchair. And he's just like, floating around stuff.
yeah.
And Fred Durst is eventually like, get this fucker up here, man. Get him on stage. Get this guy on stage. And he gives him a bottle of Jägermeister. And he just starts drinking it. And it's just a party. This is probably all during like break stuff or one of those songs.
Yeah.
So just like heavy as all hell.
Yeah.
The best way to describe Limp Bizkit as a band, it's just a party.
Yeah.
That
So
makes sense. Have you guys ever heard of the band Psycho Stick?
Yeah. Yep.
I opened for them
Really?
a couple of years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome.
This was, I can't even remember where it was, back in Pennsylvania. I opened up for them and I didn't know who they were. It was just like, they're the guys who sang the song Beer is Good and stuff. You know the one.
I'm not familiar, but yeah.
We'll listen after the pod.
I opened up for them. Weird. Interesting.
I know those feelings. Tyler and I opened up for a like the biggest name we opened up for was a band called
The Bareback Titty Squad.
the Bareback Titty Squad. Thank you.
And they came to fame from doing like the top hottest 100 Triple J thing. They do like a mashup each year, like
Do it all in one take.
all 100 songs in their version of it.
It was like a 40-minute set, basically going over the top 100.
And they were loose dudes. They were really cool. But
Yeah.
we got about, maybe 15 people to that gig because this is in Castlemaine at the Theatre Royal. Great little venue.
We were promised $1 a head for the gig.
We got $11 for the gig. And
So they undercut us for the cokes we got or something.
but
Awesome, like beautiful venue. It just wasn't advertised well. There was another show on that night.
it was DD Dumbo, who's
Who's on
amazing.
my list. I'd love to see that guy. He's
Yeah.
very psychedelic. you know?
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
You guys ever open up for any other bands like that? Or
Mainly just a lot of the local circuit.
yeah. There's
No big names.
I played one show. I used to play show back in my metal days. I think this was before I joined this particular band, but they had Texas in July play with them on the same bill.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're from Pennsylvania as well.
They're heavy.
Pennsylvania with the bands.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
Tell me about it. After I graduated high school, I went and played Rockapalooza in Jackson, Michigan. Brad, Michigan. And I just looked it up just because I wanted to double check the name. Jackson, Michigan. If you can attend one outdoor rock fest this summer, make certain that is Rockapalooza 2011 on June 5th. It was hosted by comedian Pauly Shore.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It was so stupid.
Yeah,
Honestly, like we drove 10 hours to play this show, and we were supposed to have like one of the evening spots, but we ended up getting really screwed around, and we got the 11 a.m. set time. But on it was where was it? On the National Guard stage. That's where we played. On the National Guard stage, who did we open for? Sleeping with Sirens, Hawthorne Heights, Chiodos, Forever the Sickest Kids, and Silverstein.
That's a great little set list there.
I'm trying to think of any other names that you guys might know.
All pretty notable. Like Silverstein had a couple of big songs in
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like I don't really remember it that much just because I was so damn tired.
Well, it would I don't know the states well at all, but it would have been a big drive from Pennsylvania to Michigan, wouldn't it?
10 hours northeast.
Yeah.
From Pennsylvania all the way to Michigan.
Yeah.
We had a van at the time that I had a Nintendo Entertainment System in it, so you could play like Mario 3 while you were driving. So gigging days, man, they were just so.
It's one of the best Marios, man.
Yeah,
The
it
little
really
Easter
is.
eggs, the little hacks and sheets.
Look, if we're gonna talk video games, we can talk video games.
We may as well.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm on board.
I'm on
Why
board.
not?
Why don't we?
How about we do one person we'd love to see in concert?
Yes,
We haven't seen them already if they're alive or if they're unfortunately
Yep.
passed away.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good way to finish that off. before we segue.
And then
can we have a
video
quick
games.
intermission? I
Yeah,
gotta-
we can have a quick intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's reset the cameras.
let's do that. All right, we're back.
Okay, we're back.
We are indeed.
It's happening.
Where do we go?
Where would you like to go?
As in, where and when? Why?
When? Where?
How,
When?
who?
How? Who? Where?
Why? We were talking about bands we would like to see in some fictitious place, dead or alive.
I'm not going to go first on this one.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to throw myself in the deep end here. I've
Brad.
referenced a couple heavy bands tonight, and I'm going to keep that tradition going. I've never seen the band Meshuggah.
Wow.
You guys familiar with Meshuggah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the gentle lords, if you will, the gentlemen, if you will.
They're just based.
The main reason I want to see Meshuggah is, well, there's several reasons. Number one, they're awesome. I listen to them when I'm driving all the time.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of praise from their shows. More in particular, they have a light show, which is like, I'm not sure if it's exactly synced up with like their drumming or their drummer or just like the guitar picks or something. But they have a dedicated light guy, like we had a Navy Blue with you.
Yes.
Hey. Just to add to the elements of it.
It does.
And they're playing 8 and 9 string guitars, so already it's like subsonic sort of drop ass tuning. So it's like, you know how like people align their chakras?
Yes.
If you listen to Meshuggah, you're going to align chakras you never knew you had.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That
Like
makes sense.
in the bowels of you.
The brown sound.
Anyway, look, I just think seeing Meshuggah would be such an experience, just
Would.
so loud. It'd be like you'd be in a trance the whole show, and I just want to experience that.
Gojira?
Yeah.
Seen them twice. They're amazing.
have? Yeah.
They're amazing.
It's-
But I think Meshuggah would be that next level amazing.
It's French for Godzilla.
It is. Gohira.
I'd have to chuck in Tool also.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a lot more, probably a more of an artistic show, maybe. But Meshuggah takes the belt for me. That would just be, definitely an experience.
For sure. What about you, man?
Before I give my one or two answers, we used to have a dedicated light guy when I played in my metal band. It was we had light boxes, custom light boxes. But after we had custom light boxes, we had 4x10 cabs. We took out the first 2 speakers and put floodlights in them.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
And we used to have somebody with a power strip just flicking them on and off.
just out the back.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't do it like that.
just behind us. It was like literally some dude flicking the bean. And our lights were going in sync. So
That's what happens when you flick the bean.
Yeah, tell me about it. Look, I can't narrow this down to just 2 or just 1, so I'm gonna have to do just 2. I've
do
seen
2.
I've seen tribute bands of both. Obviously, Led Zeppelin. I would have loved to have seen Led Zeppelin back in their heyday. The Madison Square Garden concert film that they did. The song remains the same. I would have loved to have seen that show. I feel like I can understand Led Zeppelin so much better now that I've seen something comparable.
Yeah.
Understanding that band has been something I felt like I've been missing, and now it's like my chakras have been aligned.
That's it.
Another band that I would like to see is Daft Punk. I saw a Daft Punk tribute show in Syracuse a couple of years ago. They were called One More Time. And
Were they in-
One more time.
Were they in outfits?
They had
Like
the helmets and they had a pyramid.
Uh,
It was like so legit, honestly, and like it was a good show.
You know what's funny? It could have been the guys just pulling like a.
It could have been.
they've done that stuff before.
You would never know.
It
Though.
wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised either. But it was just around the time that Get Lucky came out, but not the full song. It was when they teased like 10 seconds of it. And these guys did like a 4-minute remix of Get Lucky, and everybody was like, hell yeah. Somebody with a Yoshi backpack.
That was so fresh at the
it
time.
was
that
so
song.
good. You know why?
Still is fresh.
Because they went back to the roots with
That's
the
right.
70s disco with Nile Rodgers on guitar. Boom.
The guy on the Thriller album, yeah?
No.
No.
The guy from
He
the
did
Thriller
something
album did
with-
play with Daft Punk in that band for that album. That guy did play.
What was he known for? The more recent guitarist.
Nile Rodgers.
Yeah.
Good Times with Chic. Dun, 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 dun. You would know it.
Yeah.
Classic,
Yeah,
classic
yeah,
70s
yeah.
funk. Daft Punk and Led Zeppelin for sure. Totally 2 different people, but Ted Zeppelin.
That's me. That is me.
The Grateful Ted.
Now I've got a top 3.
Let's hear it.
All right. When we were thinking of like this just before, the first one to go in my mind immediately was Jimi Hendrix. I've been a lifelong Hendrix fan. My dad's been a lifelong Hendrix fan. It's just
Purple Haze.
kind of in the family.
I think we all wish we were at Woodstock 99.
Exactly.
99, 69.
69.
The 99 was sick. If you check
Metallica.
out some of those bands, Korn did an awesome show.
Yeah.
Lots of good bands.
And that would have been sweet, but I think 69 would have been a little bit.
Ah,
That's what she said.
Janis Joplin.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Old school stuff.
Santana.
yeah. Oh yeah.
The Who.
The Who? Hendrix. I would love to have seen The Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia. I kind of put those two on a very similar level.
Both with guitar gods, like
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And one that still may happen, like they're not passed away, is I want to see Snarky Puppy.
Oh, gee, they're good.
This happens once a podcast.
They're Snarky
What is
Puppy.
wrong with me?
What is wrong with me? Snarky
because we
Puppy,
can reference that.
They're a really interesting band. Honestly,
That's like the jazzy band, right?
yeah, they're like a 15-piece band.
Yeah.
I remember now. It's led by that. Who's the main guy in that? Like the front man of
The
it?
bass player, dude.
Bass
Yeah.
player. Yeah. All right. I'm on board.
Yeah.
I just can't really remember much of
Just
them.
watching their YouTube videos and stuff, and like they've got like a whole series of them where like they have a crowd, but they've all got headsets
In studio,
in studio.
so good.
That would just be like a dream to see because they're all like highest level session musicians out there.
Yep,
And
for
like
sure.
15 of them just doing their thing. It's just
And what better way to do that than jazz?
exactly right.
Jazz rock.
Exactly right.
Have you said all of your 3 picks?
Yes, but I'm going to say a 4th.
Let's hear it.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Good choice. Good choice.
Just bring a nice lady friend along to that gig. You know what I mean?
Did you know that he actually added an E to his name? Because he didn't want to be seen as like gay. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
So he put an E at the end of Marvin Gaye.
There you go.
Marvin Gaye.
And he was killed by his father.
He was.
Very
He
sad.
was, yeah.
That's shocking.
Very sad.
He wasn't a fan of his success.
Can I just say that live gigs are so fun to watch? But the other show that I went to the other night, the Jason Bonham show, like I walked away feeling disappointed. And you know why? It's because like, why am I not doing that?
Yeah.
Why am I not out there kicking ass?
Yeah.
Because I'm totally capable of doing it. We all are.
Is it because like you're in the musician headspace?
Yes.
You can't detach yourself just to enjoy a show. It's almost
can't.
like competition.
I can't.
In a weird way.
I'm so picky. Like I'm so bad as a musician. I'm very judgmental of like, I can watch a show and be like, why am I not up there? You know, like I'm good enough to do that. And it's not like me blowing smoke up my ass. It's like, I genuinely like, I know I'm talented
It's
enough.
a human instinct.
Yeah,
really
it
is.
certainly is. So it made me appreciate the fire that's in me to want to get out there and play live music,
Yeah.
guitar in a band. Any final thoughts on concerts?
Not really. No. I think we're
None that are friendly enough for the podcast.
I wanted to list off all the concerts I've been to because I went through the trouble of actually writing them down. So I'm going to take.
I'm going to be impressed. I'm going to have a count on this.
Actually,
You know what? On the edit, it'd be awesome if you had like in the corner a little count that goes up.
Okay, and I have them listed chronologically, like within the year.
Should we make this episode 4? Because there's so many on there.
There's so many. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, my first concert was Robert Plant and the Strange Sensation at the Tower Theater in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That was in June of 2005. And then I saw Cream, their last show ever, Madison Square Garden, October 26th. I saw Asia on the reunion tour, their second show.
Asia.
At Penn's Peak, beautiful venue in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Then I saw Wolf Mother in Philadelphia at the Electric Factory in November of 2006. Then I saw Asia again twice in New Jersey, and I believe Penn's Peak again. Then I saw Rush in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Wolf Mother in Cleveland, Ohio. Unfortunately, I had tickets to Eric Clapton in Michigan. I passed on it because I didn't want to drive. Really regretting that now. Those were tickets for my birthday. I'm very sorry that I passed on that, my parents.
10-hour drive.
Zepp reunion I missed. Foghat and Blue Oyster Cult at the New York State Fair.
BOC.
Foghat was incredible.
They're
Honestly,
amazing. Yeah.
Slow Ride, some of the best blues rock I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It was also the very first show that I've ever seen where there was somebody signing on the stage, for deaf people. Have you ever seen that? It's
Not at a gig, but that's interesting.
It was really interesting. Okay, skipping to the Pillows at the Gramercy Theater, and then I saw Robin Trower. Do you guys know who that is?
No clue.
He was one of the guitar heroes from the 70s. Look up the song Day of the Eagle. Robin Trower at Penn's Peak. Then I saw Rush twice, and I saw Yes in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, with nearly the drama lineup, for those of you who know.
Yes.
Really good. I got to see one of my bass heroes, Chris Squire, in real life, who unfortunately passed away later. I saw Paramore in Philadelphia, 4 years strong, in 2010, August Burns Red. Here's another one interesting. I saw Dead Mouse in Philadelphia,
Nice.
4 years strong again. Another good one, The Darkness.
Ooh.
Yes.
I seen The Darkness in Philadelphia.
I won't bother like trying to reenact that guy's voice.
Oh, so
I've done
good.
enough today.
So good. Rush and then Daft Punk tribute show. And then I saw Carl Palmer's Emerson, Lake and Palmer Experience literally 15 minutes away from my house in Cicero, New York. Like there's pictures of me with him. He had a big double bass drum kit. It was a stainless steel kit. Really cool show. Then I saw Rush. And then I saw Yes in Niagara Falls 2016. And then most recently, Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin Experience. I'm sure I am missing something because I used to go to shows a lot when I was younger, back when the bands that I like were still around. So I've spoken way more than enough.
Whoa.
In this podcast. So, any closing final thoughts other than concerts? Any funny stories? Anything that we can end the podcast off with? Because I don't really have anything.
Me either. I think it's up to good old Jackie boy.
What's up, Brad? Byler.
I don't think I have too much for you guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see if I wrote something funny down on my phone. I do that sometimes.
Those of you that don't know, Jackson Jones is a stand-up comedian.
I was just going to say that, actually.
I've been on hiatus for 2 years, but
the comeback is strong.
I've been on
it's
hiatus,
strong. It's strong.
but I'm about to go on a
We're nearly
hiatus.
ready. You'll find me somewhere soon. I don't have anything to plug yet, so I can't.
I'll do.
I can't
stand-up.
get pretentious.
I'll do stand up with you.
I think you should.
I would love to do stand up. It'd be really cringe.
I remember I was doing like a voice recording session with you ages ago, and you ran a couple jokes by me.
I did, yeah.
What was your Woolworths one?
Okay, so I think it's loosely along the lines of I've just recently taken up knitting as a hobby, and I went to Woolworths and I was really disappointed.
So I went to Coles.
So I went to Kohl's.
Need some work, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you have potential.
The joke's there.
I've got a lot of bad, non-family friendly jokes that I could say.
That's for the adults. Only
Here's
podcast.
a good one. Why did the chicken cross the road?
Please.
To get to the other side.
Wow.
And that's a wrap, people.
And that's a wrap. So thanks again, everybody, for listening and watching us, The Live Room, episode number 3, triple. Feel free to follow along with us at Live Room Podcast, at Liver Podcast on Instagram, Facebook,
LinkedIn.
and YouTube. Listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Give us a 5-star rating and let us know what you think of the episodes in iTunes, please. Just helps us grow. And yeah, that's it. Just follow along, get in conversation. You know, I think we've got some guests coming next one.
We do indeed.
That's it. Do we unveil that, or do we keep it a bit of a
little
secret?
give us a little teaser.
A little teaser.
What's this man known for?
This man is a very renowned tour manager and tour driver, and just like the best way to describe him is a tour dad. He's like the father of the bands he travels around with. And he's just an all-out a great guy with a lot of musical experience. So yeah,
He'll have some stories, no
he
doubt.
will have some funny stories. He's a very funny man. So that'll be good. That'll be in 2 weeks' time.
Yep, very good.
I'm excited.
I'm very pumped. We have it in the calendar, so that's good. Yeah, that's it. That's it for episode 3. One more time, thanks again for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time on the episode of the Live Room Podcast. There and the Sky Cam, which didn't fall down this time.
Every time.
Boom.
See ya.
Thank you. That's it.